It's Sunday the 27th of October 2019. I'm going to give you a technical analysis breakdown of some UK and US stocks. Let's get straight into it. Hi guys, it's Any, aka the Noctrader, your friendly neighborhood swing trader, back again with another video. Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that alert button to get alerts on all my latest videos. I've got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Noctrader on all social media platforms. And if you check that description section below, you'll see a link to my mailing list. If you join my mailing list, you get a weekly email straight into your inbox of all my latest videos. And I've also got a Discord chat room called Pip Talks. So Pip Talks is a chat room for all like-minded traders to just talk about everything and anything to do with investing and trading on stocks. So check that out also in the description section below. So I've got some UK and US stocks to go through today. Before I get into those stocks, I've got one UK, two US stocks I want to go through. Before I get into those stocks, I want to go through some of the ETFs I've been trading over the last week or so. I've had some good success with some of the ETFs I've been trading, and if you check some of the Brexit video I made earlier, I'll show you that I've been making some decent money. Towards the end of the month, I want to start a new challenge called the £5,000 challenge, and I'll go through that later on. Not in this video, but in another video, I'll explain that in further depth. Now, so this is my ETF list, and I took two trades on Friday. Not two. I took one trade on Friday and another trade that I'd already taken. So I'm currently still in two positions. One of them is NUGT. So NUGT, this was the one that I took the trade on Friday. So what I saw was that on the daily chart, let's actually start from the 2-hour chart. On the 2-hour chart, you can see that price had broken out of the descending channel pattern. Well, the resistance anyway here. So price had hit this line once, twice, thrice, and this time it broken out. Now it had gone up pretty high, and then now it retraced back. So I went down to the 15-minute chart, and what I realized was that in this breakout there was almost like a I don't know whether it's expanding wedge or ascending channel, but there was like a support and resistance forming. So when price retraced back down to this resistance line, I saw that this was a potential opportunity to go long. And it was a great opportunity because I caught it at the support line, I could set a pretty tight stop loss. And that's what I did. I set a stop loss that was £36. And it went up, and I only put 0.60p per pip. I could have done more, but I was more of a speculative trade. So £36 I risked, and currently it's up £53 already, so I'm doing pretty well. And I set my stop loss at about £100. This, in theory, could go all the way up back to this resistance line. So even though I set my stop loss at £100, it could potentially go up to about 200 and something pounds. And that's a pretty decent risk to reward ratio right now, because right now I've made more than what I'm risking so far, and I can even move the stop loss a little bit tighter. So I'll just do that here actually now. So the stop loss is at £23. Hopefully tomorrow, if the price carries on going up, and then I can raise my stop loss above the entry point, so that we're in green territory. So that means that it's not a matter of how much I'm risking, because it will just be a matter of how much am I going to make in profit. So Monday, I expect price to carry on going up. The 180-day simple moving average is below price, and yeah, everything points to it, hopefully it going up. Hopefully it doesn't lose momentum, but I'm going to keep an eye on this trade. And if price seems to be moving up in a quite aggressive fashion, I'll move my stop loss, because I think this has a potential to go all the way back up to this kind of resistance line here. So the other position I took was GUSH. Now this trade was it was a good trade in theory, but my entry was terrible. So here's what I saw that made me want to take this trade. On the 1-hour chart, I'll show you. What's this line for? On the 1-hour chart, what I saw was that there's this resistance line. There's this line here at about 291 had been a resistance several times. Price had fallen sharply, and then it's been trying to break through this resistance a couple of times. Once, twice, 3 times here. Now what I saw here was that this time was a little bit different. It gradually gone up. So I saw that price could potentially break out this time, but I got a bit excited, and on the Wednesday I entered my long position here the minute it broken through, but I retraced back down and come back up again. So I spent a whole day in a red position. So if I go down to the 15-minute chart, Yeah, so this is, I entered around here. I entered around here, and then I spent the whole the next day down, nearly down £100, and then came back up again. And now we'd broken past the entry point after spending so much time in the red zone. What I did was I took out half of my position, because I was really, initially I had £5 per pip on this trade. I took half of it out to and because I wanted just a smaller position in this trade, but I believe that this trade potentially, the minute it breaks out of this area, it can go all the way up to here. That's why I put this green box. The reason behind that is that it seems like there's low volume in this region. The reason why I say that is that because if you look at the previous movement in this price zone, price fell pretty rapidly. So it went from here to here in the pace of 4 hours. It dropped 51 pips. So once it's broken out, which it has, I believe next week, when they fill this gap is going to be filled pretty quickly, because it was filled pretty quickly here, and it seems like there's not that much volume being traded in this area, which is why price fell so fast. So I believe that price will climb pretty fast in pretty much the same type of motion that it fell here. So I expect about 4 hours, 50 pips, something like that, to go all the way here. And if it goes up to there, that would be £91 I would have secured. So right now I'm up £5. The entry point was quite poor. If I'd entered here, which would have been a great place to enter, and I should have noticed that I could have entered here, because it hit this line several times before. But I got too excited when I saw it break this line. But lo and behold, I'm in the green, so I can't complain. Hopefully price continues to rise up on Monday, and then I could just raise my stop loss past the entry point, and then we'll be in green territory again. So those are the two trades I'm currently in. Now to do some technical analysis on some other stocks. So the UK stock I'm looking at right now is Aviva. Aviva's in a quite interesting position right now. If you look on the 4 hour chart, well, let's look at the daily chart first of all. If you look at the daily chart, let me move this comment section down. If you look at the daily chart, it's a quite interesting position it's in right now, because right now it could do one or two things. This support line has been resistance line has been very important at 425. It's hit it once, it's hit it twice, and it's retraced. This time as well, it looks like it's about to hit it and sell off, because the RSI is overbought. The MACD looks like it's about to curve down, and prices, even though price has been going up, it's been going up at a slower rate. As you can see, that it's kind of curving, and the last candlestick was like a red kind of, it looks like a hammer, inverted hammer, I think. So it looks like it might sell off again. But the 180-day simple moving average is underpriced, so that's something you need to look out for. What I think might happen is this might be some sort of line of importance. I'm going to make this dotted because it's speculative. And so what I think might happen next is price may sell off back to this line and then try again to break out. So what I think a good trade could be for this would be to short it here, set a stop loss just above it, and then just ride it down to this line and make a little bit of profit. At the end of the day, that could be a 13 day 29 pips. So you'd probably need to put quite a lot of points on points per pip to make a decent amount of money on this. But this looks like quite a low risk trade, because you'd probably be able to risk about maybe 10 pips and then to make about 28. So that's 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is pretty good. Now off to my US stocks. Before I start on my US stocks, I'm going to go through Tesla. Tesla had a brilliant earnings report. I don't trade Tesla because during earnings times, you never know with Tesla. Tesla is just as temperamental as probably Bitcoin. But Tesla did really well. It climbed above the 180-day simple moving average before the earnings. So that was a potential bullish sign that could have helped towards predicting a bullish move. But you can't really predict moves when it comes to earning reports. So I rather just watch from the sidelines. And look at that climb. During the earnings, it went up 32%. In 3 days, 32% in 3 days. That's ridiculous. Anyone that's holding Tesla, you're lucky guys, whoever you are. But yeah, I just wanted to look at that because that's quite an interesting move that Tesla's done. Hopefully they can maintain that and it's not just gonna capitulate. But onto the other stocks now. Roku is one I've been looking at. Roku, I missed the first move. Let's just look at price action. I missed the first move initially. when it was at this line here, and this was the time to really go long and take a position, and you could have made a decent amount. You could have made at least, like, once again, 38% in 16 days, not too bad. But now it's retraced back down, and I think it's ready to do another bullish move. The reason why I say that is because this line here, I pull out this line here, and this line really gives us a real insight into, let me just make it thicker. It gives a real insight into the fact that it could make another bullish move. It was a previous resistance, and kind of previous resistance here, and now it's become a support. It double bottomed on that line, so that means that if you go back down, if you go down to like the 2-hour chart, it's double bottomed on this line, so it looks like it's ready for another bullish move. This is a great setup for a long trade, and look, the MACD, RSI all telling us the same thing. Great setup for a long trade because, one, you could risk about 1,000 pips to potentially make about maybe even 4,000 pips if it goes back to the old previous high. So you can, and it just looks like it's ready to go up. So this one looks like a good long trade to take. 180-day simple moving average acting as a support. So all signs tell me that it's long on all the different indicators. And you know I love a bit of confluence. So Roku looks like a long to me. Stop loss would be just under 12260, and it will probably take it probably won't move it in the sharpest motion it's moved before, but it could that potentially could be like a month's trade, make about 4,000 pips off of that. And finally, I'm looking at CRON. CRON is one that I embarrassed myself by taking a long position when it was around here, only for it to go up a little bit and sell off for the next next 5 months. But that's the name of the game. That's why you have risk management, because I didn't lose too much. The minute it started selling off, I cut my losses and moved on to the next one. So CRON, I've set alerts at these 2 major points because I knew, as CRON was selling off, I was like, at some point it needs to change direction. So I thought it could do it here at 990, did not happen. Thought it could do it here at 758. Thought it could do it here at 647. So I set 2 alerts here from time ago, and lo and behold, 758 is where it changed direction. Now this could still just be like a small retracement, and it can sell off some more, so you have to be careful. So what I'm going to do is that I'm waiting for CRON to like start making a little bit more higher highs, carry on going up, retrace back a little bit, then carry on going up, and then I'll know that the bullish run has started, and then I would want to enter a long position here, because this will be a great position to enter CRON because it's got all of this move to make up for. Even though this was quite an aggressive move initially, it can still go back to its previous highs, and it may take quite a long time. This is not a trade that you'll be holding for like a week or 2 or something like that. This one you have to hold for quite a long time, but there's so much upside potential that it'll be worthwhile, because if it goes even halfway back up to where it was before, we're talking 95% growth or 800 pips. So that's a lot of money you can make off of a CRON if you time the entry point for a reversal. And I potentially think this is where the reversal is. I might be wrong, because there's 2 scenarios I think could play out with this trade. It could scenario 1 is that it can go up, carry on going up, retrace back down, carry on going up. Scenario 2 is that it's going to keep selling off, sell off to this line, and then it starts reversing. So to account for these 2 scenarios, I'm going to wait. Not yet take an entry point yet. Wait and wait for it to make a decision. Whichever one it does, if it goes scenario 1, I'll wait for it to retrace and enter there, set my stop loss underneath there, and just ride it up. If it sells off some more, I'll wait for it to reverse and then enter here. Maybe enter a half position here, wait for it to go up, enter it to retrace again, enter another half position here, and then let it carry on going up. So that's the way I'd play CRON if I wanted to take a long position on CRON. So yeah, so I've gone through Aviva, CRON, and what's the other one? Roku. Those are the 3 ones I'm really looking at for swing trades right now. But as you know, I'm really trading ETFs at the moment. But those are the ones I'm going to be watching out for. It's Any, aka the Noctrader, signing out.